Yo, what's up, guys? I want to talk about something very important, and it's about male and female, and their roles. So, I think I wrote in that note it was about their roles, their strengths, and essentially, are they opposite? Because there's a talk about duality, right? And I know that internally a person can have dualism. I think someone can have light and shadow, and I guess that can be called for the same type of energy, right? If male is aggressive, right, and female energy is more like peaceful and calm, I guess you could call that male and female energy too, right? But in reality, I feel like men and women are not opposites of each other. It's like comparing apples and oranges. And I feel like this system has brainwashed humanity to not see the truth about male and female. That they're not opposite at all. That if you consider a man opposite to a woman, okay, let's see. So a man is supposed to be traditionally more like loud, more aggressive, more combative, more physical, right? More hands-on, right? Um, while more maybe sensual, right? More physical, material, like more physical. Now, women are, I guess, I think more emotionally, more emotional, intellectual. They're more delicate, and this is the traditional idea of a female. They're more they're more nurturing. They're more caring. They're softer. They're not hard. They're gentler, soft-spoken. They're softer, not hard and rough. And I'm not saying that women can't be like that, but in the general most part, that's what a feminine woman is. And essentially, now here's the kicker. I don't believe in this reality being dualistic. And essentially, male and female are not opposites because they have different strengths. Men have the strength, like physical strength, but women have a strength that you females never want to admit, and you have the strength to command men, to control men. Even the strongest man can melt in the hearts of in the arms of a beautiful woman. You know what I mean? So it's like women, they give birth to men, they raise men, they're the ones who control their minds when they're like growing up, so they have massive amounts of strength and power. So there's like comparing apples and oranges. Now, in the beginning of time, I believe God created man and women, and man, in the story of in the creation, man was created first, and woman came off of man, came from the rib of man. So I feel like women are can be spiritual, but I feel like for the most part, deep in their soul, deep in the core of their heart, what they're seeking is to connect with a man, to connect with a male. Deep in their soul, if you search for it deep internally, that's what you're seeking. And then for the men are seeking to be full, right? To be full and one, and you can only be one and full when you love yourself and when you're working on yourself. But also, you need to connect with your partner, your life partner, because you can't be alone. Because men and women were not designed to be alone. So essentially, man and women are supposed to be together because they always were together. They always were one. Man came from man, so they're supposed to be together as a team to support one another. And the man is supposed to be on top. The man is supposed to be at the head of the top of the spear. He's supposed to be the leader. And the female is supposed to support the man. She can give advice to him, but in the end, it's ultimately the male who makes the decision and takes command. Because you can't have two leaders in an army. In a military, in a team, if there's two leaders, how can that work? They're going to clash and argue. And this system has brainwashed all of you to divide. It's like a male female sexist. It's so toxic. People are like looking at each other, they hate each other because they can't get laid with one another because it's so toxic. Because this is how the occult works. This witches and warlocks, this giant massive pyramid scheme of witches, warlocks, and wizards that have used shadow and darkness to brainwash everyone. by following the shadow and darkness, they're confused, and they essentially have brainwashed everyone to divide people. Essentially, they've inverted everything. Satan has inverted everything because he's using women as the leader now, and the witches are controlling the men in power. And essentially, they're using witchcraft and energy manipulation. Essentially, I'm getting off topic here. Essentially, I noticed that in the society, women like to control the men. And essentially, it's supposed to be a team, and I still feel like women and men are equal. It's just we have different roles. And women shouldn't be ashamed of that. And essentially, back in the day, now everyone's busting their ass trying to survive and working 5 days, 6 days a week, 40 hours to 60 hours a week, just trying to get the lifestyle that they want, selling out to the occult, bending over to get fucked in the ass just to get your money. And then essentially, back in the day, women weren't working. They were just at home, and only the man was taxed, because that's how it was in the day, because the woman was supposed to just work on herself, work on the land, gardening, nature, children, teaching them. Screw the fucking public education system. Their role is so important, but then this evil system tricked you and put ego and pride into the woman to make them think that they had to compete with the male and supersede him, because the women, they don't want to be equal with them men. They want to be above them now. And I see a lot of women who are like, they don't act like women, they act like men. And a lot of men, they don't want a woman like that. They want a woman who's a feminine, qualities that are good, that they can cook, they can raise a kid, that they're loving, that they'll fuck you when you want, that like they'll give you the affection that you want, like they'll support you in your dreams. They're not going to take away from the man's desires and dreams and passions. They're going to support his desires, his dreams and goals. And essentially, this system is supposed to be built on strong men. And essentially, what this system has done is weaken the male. It's weakened them, people. And I'm trying to tell you guys to wake the fuck up, because we need to get the male strong again so that he can fight against this evil system, because this system is controlled by evil.